Hey guys, commercial photographer Tony Roseland here again in the studio today talking about off-camera lighting. Not so much about how to use off-camera lighting, but what's available to you if you want to get that flash off the camera. Stick around. All right guys, we're back and today we're talking about off-camera lighting and I mean strobe lights, flash photography. If you're currently shooting with natural light and you've had an interest in getting into using strobes, maybe to supplement that natural light, or want to get into studio photography, gives you a little bit more control over your lighting scenarios when you use strobe lights, because you can control all of the light in a scene or additive light to the scene. And so we're just going to talk about some of the options that are available to you today, starting with probably one of the most common, which is a speed light. These little guys are just battery-powered lights that can attach either to the hot shoe of your camera, or you can get them off the camera, which gives you even more control over the light. Why would you want to get them off camera? Well, if you've ever used a little pop-up flash on your camera, or you've used one of these guys on your camera, it's a pretty directional light, straight on from camera angle. It gives a real flat light. It's really not the best option if you want to try to bring out the best in a subject, whether you want to shape a product or whether you want to highlight a person's facial features or whatever. A lot of people, wedding photographers in particular, will put one of these on the camera, bounce it off the ceiling to give some overall ambient light. Bring up the values of that ambient light, which is fine. But when you really want to start shaping things, you need to get that flash off the camera. Now these little speed lights, the modern ones, the Nikons, the Canons, Pentax, whatever camera that you're using, if you buy a branded speed light to match the brand of camera that you're shooting with, more than likely has TTL technology, which is through the lens. What that means is that these speed lights talk to the camera using the metering in the camera to determine what the output of that flash should be. So you don't have to know all of the settings on the flash to be able to adjust the power up and down. Put it in TTL mode, get it off the camera, shoot a subject, the flash talks to the camera, and the camera tells the flash how much light it should output on that subject. That's TTL. I like to have a little bit more control than that, although there's plenty of people out there that manipulate that TTL to get exactly the look they're after. I use these things in manual mode, which means that I can just adjust the power up and down in third stops. If you're going to be using them in manual mode, you don't necessarily need to buy the latest and greatest of these. Any old flash will work. There's old Vivitar 285s and things. There's Nikon SB28s. You can buy these things on eBay for as little as $75. And if you're going to be using them in manual mode, hey, that's a great way to get into it. You can buy several of them. If you're buying one of the newer name brands, the Nikons, the Canons, whatever, they run anywhere from about $300 to $600. So there's quite a bit of price difference in there, but you do get that TTL technology. Some of the modifiers available on these things, of course, they come usually with just a regular diffusion dome, which helps distribute the light. For example, in a room, it can help distribute the light in all directions. You can also buy grid spots that Velcro on. A lot of times they'll come with gels, or you can buy aftermarket gels that you can put over the lens of the light, which will help you match whatever interior or ambient light colors that you have. You can buy stand adapters. This is called an umbrella mount. It's got a 5/8 female that goes onto a stand, cold shoe on top that this light mounts to, and then you can attach an umbrella to this, bounce out of an umbrella. You can simply bounce it off the ceiling. You can affix a softbox to the front of this. They have various size softboxes available for these now. They make stand adapters that can hold multiple speed lights, so you can have 3 or 4 speed lights attached kind of in a triangle fashion or whatever, and that gives you a bigger amount of light that you're throwing at a subject. We use these little guys, which are called Justin clamps, and they're basically a Manfrotto 175 clamp with a cold shoe and ball head on top. So you can attach this speed light onto these. These guys clip onto shelves or doors or whatever. You can loosen the ball head and they can swivel around whatever angle that you need them. They're great. We use these quite a bit in architectural photography. which is kind of the advantage of these. They're small, they're easy to pack, they're light, they're portable. They use AA batteries. You can use rechargeables, or you can buy, you know, Duracells or whatever Energizers. We can fit them behind doors, we can fit them behind chairs. They're real small, easy to use, and they put out just enough light to kind of bring up the ambient values in a room. A lot of guys will shoot these through diffusion panels. They'll shoot them through windows to bring up interior light, make it look like sunlight, put a gel on the front. Pretty endless possibilities with these things. Your biggest limiting factor is the power output that they have. So if you find yourself needing more power, the next step up is one of these, and these are monoblocks. Basically, this is the big brother to a speedlight in that it has the generator and the head all built into a single unit. They are AC powered, so you do need a power cord to plug them in. Generally, the controls are on the back, which gives you power adjustments. You can turn on and off a remote slave. A lot of them these days have radio slaves built in for Pocket Wizard or whatever proprietary format that the head may be using. Generally, they come with a reflector of some sort that you can attach, and this allows you to control the spread of light. You can buy grids to put in there and control the spread of light even more. If you pick up a speed ring that fits your head, you can attach soft boxes and things to it, and you can buy soft boxes in all different shapes and sizes. Once you have a speed light that fits your head, you can typically use any brand of soft box that will fit these speed rings, so you're not bound to using, for example, this is a Pro Photo head. You don't necessarily have to buy Pro Photo soft boxes, so it gives you the opportunity to experiment quite a bit. What's nice about these is that they are semi-portable. They're not quite as easy to pack and travel with as these, but they give you a lot more power. So they generally range from 300 to 1200 watt seconds on a monoblock. Since each one is independent off of the AC cord, you can put these in a large space, one in each corner. You can put them all over a warehouse, whatever, and you're not tethered to a single point of control. Which brings me to our next option, and that is a power pack and head combination. You might recognize this from the monoblock. Basically, it is the same thing, the front end, with the power portion cut off. So all this is a flash tube inside of a head. That connects to a generator or a power pack, and these power packs have anywhere from 2 to 4 channels depending on the make and manufacturer. This one has 4 channels. I can control each one independently. This one being a 2400 watt second pack means that if I plug a single head into this, I get 2400 watt seconds out of that head. If I plug a second head into this, it divides the power in half and gives me 1200 watt seconds to each head. If I plug all 4 in, I could essentially have 4 heads, each with 600 watt seconds. So there's a big increase in power when you move to a power pack over a monoblock or even a speed light. As I said, these guys generally max out around 1200 watt seconds depending on the brand. These guys generally max out around 4800 watt seconds depending on the brand. So if I have a 4800 watt second pack with 4 heads in it, that gives me 1200 watt seconds out of a single pack. That's like having 4 of these guys. As far as modifiers go, it's very, very similar because it is the same front end. So you can attach your reflectors, you can add grids, you can add a speed ring and soft boxes. The next advantage of these is that you don't necessarily have to only use standard heads. You can use things like strip lights, you can use ring lights, you can use stick lights. A lot of the manufacturers have several different options that you can plug into these ports and use rather than just a standard type head. The disadvantage is that you are tethered to the pack. So if you have a big set that you're trying to light, you're limited to the length of the cable from the pack. You can buy extensions for these heads that run 15 to 20 feet each. The downside is that every extension that you use, you generally lose about a stop of light. Again, like the monoblocks, these have usually wireless capability built in for triggering, Pocket Wizard or whatever the proprietary manufacturer has installed. Some of them, this one for example, I can connect to a computer and actually control the power from the computer. I can control the power wirelessly, don't have to have another cable going to this thing. The biggest disadvantage, like I said, is that you're tethered to this, and also if this pack dies, you lose all the heads that are connected to it. So that could be a con. If you lose one head, you can swap out the head and you still have your other three working, or your pack still works. If you lose a head, the pack still works, you just swap out the head. Whereas with these guys, if it goes down, you lose the entire thing. You have to swap it out for another one. So that's the general gist of what's available to you. There is one hybrid option, which is a battery-powered monoblock or a battery-powered power pack. The monoblock battery-powered units eliminate the need for AC power. However, they do typically only go up to about 500 watt-seconds depending on the manufacturer, and the battery-powered power packs generally only go up to about 1200 watt-seconds depending on the manufacturer. So that's some options, 3.5 options for you, whatever. If you have questions, hit us up in the comments. Hopefully this will help you get something to think about if you're trying to decide which way you want to go with off-camera flash. They're all good options. They all have their own uses, and we look forward to seeing what you guys do with it. Thanks.